All right, you notice we skipped right to lesson 6. I think we skipped 4 and 5. Um, 4 and 5, not real good lessons. So we're going to spend a couple days, I think, on these composite figures because they can be a challenge. So I'm going to come back with you tomorrow on a different lesson, maybe some different work on it. But these are pretty good. Composite figure is just a bunch of figures shoved together. So when you look through this lesson, you can kind of see this pool. There's the pool, but then you have the steps. That's considered composite. Here's a rectangle. There's a rectangle. That's considered composite. And then we get into the list. We have houses or barns. We have 2 rooms. That's an overlap. We have a square with a trapezoid out of it. So you have to know all the formulas. You have to be able to work backwards and forwards. So it's really a pretty good lesson. It's a 2-dayer. All right, so let's get into this thing and let's get circled up. For today, what we're going to do is go ahead and circle numbers 1 through 5. All right. You'll notice there's not a ton of numbers here, but got to make sure we're doing everything. And then we're going to jump, all right, to 11 through, if I flip this over, all right, let's go to 11 to, I don't want to do this down here. I'm debating on this. It looks like more confusion than anything. Let's do 11 through 15. Okay, so I'll have to make that adjustment on my Schoology page. All right, well, and I will. No problem there. Okay, so let's jump into this and really kind of get into this thing and see what we can do. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper because I may need it here on this one. All right. So we found the area so far of a parallelogram, right? And that formula is area equals base times height. We found the area of squares, right? Right. And that, really is the same formula as that. The book wants you to kind of use area as a side and square it, but it's still base times height, right? Rectangle, same thing as this. Area is base times height. We went to a triangle, right? We have triangles out there. And in the triangle, the formula for that is area is 1/2 the base times the height. We worked forward and backwards on all of these. Not a problem, shouldn't be. Then we went to a trapezoid. Remember, I told you about a trapezoid. It could look a lot of different ways, but one thing we know is that a trapezoid has one set of parallel sides. And that's kind of a unique formula, isn't it? Area is 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2, and that little arc on that. Okay. So these are the formulas that we're going to utilize today. It's kind of good to have them written down, and you'll have these formulas for the PSSA, but you really ought to know these, not too much to ask. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to be able to reference it, and we're going to go to work here. We're going to have to take our time here. The manager of an apartment complex will install new carpet in a studio apartment. The floor plan is shown to the right. What is the total area needed? So we have essentially, it looks like some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided. That's a hexagon. It's an irregular hexagon. Okay, so we could do this a couple. We can do this a couple different ways. All right, and I'm going to find the area of the whole thing. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract this and subtract this. So the area, I'm going to treat this like a rectangle first. All right, so I'm going to find this and this. So it's the first number I'm going to find is 25, and then the height is 10 plus 5, which is 15. I'm going to grab my calculator, okay, and it's going to be 25 times 15 is 375. All right, so we'll label it all at the end. Now, this whole thing, including these pieces that are missing, is 375. Now, I have to find the area of this and subtract it from that. And those are just triangles, right? So I know the area is 1/2 times the base, 5, times the height, which is 8. There's actually 2 of them, right? So when I get this number, I'm going to double it, right? So 40, half of 40 is 20. 20 times 2 is back to 240, okay? And the reason I doubled it is because we have to account for this piece right here that's missing. So now I'm going to subtract these two numbers, 375 minus 40, okay? And I'm going to get the difference. And the difference is going to be the area or the carpet needed for that room. We don't want to buy more carpet than we need and just throw it away. So we want to have 375 minus the 40 is 335 feet square. Composite figure. You could have cut this way and found the area of this and found the area of a trapezoid. You could have cut it into 3 things. I try to do the least amount of work, and I take my time and look at them. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at this next one. Pretty good question. We got a weight room and a dance studio and a locker room. Well, here's the issue. We can't just find the area of both of these and add them because we're counting this twice. All right. So, all right, what we want to do is just find the area of one of these. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take care of the dance studio first. Dance studio, and it's going to be 42 times 33. Okay. And when we find the area of that, 42 times 33 is 1386. All right, so we're going to take our time, 1386. Now, I even sometimes do this when I write it in there. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is find the area of this weight room, right? And it's 28 by 30. So the weight room is going to be 28 times 30, all right? 28 times 30, and we get 840. Now, again, the problem with just adding these two numbers together is I've counted this locker room twice. So I need to take one of the locker rooms away. But here's the other issue. I don't have any dimensions, so I need to figure this out. So what I need to do is find from here to here. Well, if the whole thing is 30 and this piece is 16, 30 minus 16, that has to be 14 because 14 and 16 is 30. This is a rectangle, okay? Now, if the whole thing is 28 and this piece is 14, this has to be 14 because 14 and 14, when I add these two numbers together, have to equal 28, and they do. And we found out that this is a square, didn't we? So what I'm going to do, all right, is find the area of this, 14 times 14, all right? All right, 14 times 14, oops, I get 196. Now I'm actually going to write that in there and circle it, and I'm going to write this at 840. Okay, now, what do we have here? I need to take this number and add those two together. 6, 8 and 4 is 12, carry the 1, 8, 11, 12, carry the 1. All right, so the area with both of these, counting that twice, is 2226. And what I want to do is subtract one of these locker rooms. So when I subtract one of these locker rooms, I end up with, okay, oops, that's a 3, sorry. 12 minus 9 is 3, Mike. 0, 2. Okay, and that's going to be feet square. So we found the area of this, found the area of this. Found one of these, added those two together, subtracted that, and got that. So there's a lot of work there to that. Okay, you have one of these questions in the homework here. Okay, let's take a little peek here. It may be number 3. Let's just talk about where you would maybe cut these ones here. Here, I would cut this probably right here. Find the area of this rectangle. Find the area of this trapezoid. Add them together. Here, I would probably cut this something like this. Find the area of this rectangle. Find the area of this triangle. Add them together. Okay, So you have to know the formulas, all right? And you can reference that back, or you can do what I did, write them all down at the beginning, and then you have them, all right? And then you always have something you can look at because that makes it easier. All right, let's take a look at number 3. It's interesting. The floor plan of a kitchen is shown at the right. If the entire floor is to be tiled, how many square feet are needed? Okay. So again, I'm going to make this kind of as easy as I can. I'm going to find the area of the whole thing. So I'm going to take 16, and I'm going to do that over here, times 12, because that's pretty easy, right? I got those numbers right from there. Okay. And here we go. 16 times 12 is 192. Okay. Now, what I have up here is a trapezoid. So I know the area of a trapezoid is 1/2, okay, times the height. All right. Well, if from here to here is 12, and from here to here is 11, the height of that trapezoid has to be 1, because 1 plus 11 is 12. Base 1, well, they're giving me one of them is 2. Now I need to figure out this. Well, if the whole thing is 16, all right, and this is 6, 16 minus 12 is 4. 4 plus 12 is 16. So I know the other base of this trapezoid has to be 4. What am I going to do? 6, half of 6 is 3. So the area of that missing piece is 3 feet square. Now, what I have to do is subtract that from there. And when I do, I get 189 feet square. Okay? And that's that. So, again, I labeled it. I showed some work. I got work all over the place here. Okay? There's that overlap question. All right? And we're rolling along. So it's a good lesson. More review. We're probably going to spend a couple days on this, but you should be fine. Take your time. Use your calculator. And again, write those formulas down. It helps. All right, guys. Have a good day.